did something.
Uh-oh.
Guys, listen up. As you get older, the best way to continue to look young, exuberant, and vibrant is to continue to take care of your skin. That's why I'm excited to have Teej Hanley as a sponsor of today's video. You heard me talk about them before, and you're going to continue to hear me talk about them because I believe in their products and the positive impact that they have on every man's life. Teej Hanley makes taking care of your skin so easy. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing that you don't. Every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. Lapeef family, I must admit, skincare wasn't always something I always focused on, but since I started using this system, I've seen improvements in the way my skin looks and feels. And you don't have to take my word for it. They have over 5,000 5-star reviews on their website from satisfied customers from around the world. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: a daily face wash, an exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer, and a PM moisturizer. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off retail price, the ability to customize your box, pause or cancel at any time, and free US shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers a great deal. Just click that first link in the description and you'll get 30% off the first box plus the free gift. Seriously, that's an amazing deal. Even though it's too early, as I often say, it's never too late. Click that link and get started today.
What's going on, family? Welcome to King Talking to Lapeef Network. Let me go and introduce the group. We got Trigger Mike, Humble Dad, Shannon Raw, Sir Hale, B. Madden, Sweeney, Hick in the Basement, Big Cloud Jones, Louise, me, myself. I'm Lapeef JR. Welcome to King Talking to Lapeef Network. What's going on, family? What's going on?
What's good, JR? How you living, man?
What's up, brothers?
What's good? What's good?
Good evening.
What's up?
It's good to see you guys.
Trigger Mike says, what's happening?
How art thou, good brethren? I didn't know we were reinstituting the Black Panthers. Clout Jones down there looking.
QEP Newton looking over there.
I mean,
anyhow, I was trying to figure out what was going on too. I see you got the blowout going on, Cloud Jones. That's him saying right on.
Only
right
like
on,
this.
Brother. Right on, brother.
He only greeting people like this.
I know that's right.
Right on, big brother. It's good to see you guys in attendance. Shout out to the sponsor again, Teej Hanley Uncomplicated Skincare for Men, 30% off along with a free gift. That link is in the description. Make sure you guys go ahead and click that. We'll see what we got in the chat. Shout out to all the Green Gang. If you want to become a member of the Green Gang, the link is pinned to the top of the chat right there. Big Pressure. Shout out to you. As you guys roll in, I will acknowledge you guys. But let's go ahead and get this show started. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you talking too fast. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And make sure you go ahead and share the stream. Let's go ahead and get to our first topic of the night, which is she calls you for everything. Let me go ahead and play this clip.
I talked to her, hang up. Jalon said, Chanel call you for everything, huh? Yeah, because she feels like I could solve that problem.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, this is the crazy part, bro. If you're not really in tune with the dynamic between you and your woman, you would think that it's annoying. And your perspective will be like, yo, it's annoying. She keeps calling me, asking me for something that I can't do nothing about. But then if you shift your perspective, bro, I look at it like, yo, I'm the one person that
She
she's
wants to
calling
call.
for anything.
Yeah.
That's a privilege, bro.
Yeah.
It's a privilege to be that for a woman, you know? And me as a man, I welcome that, because how pointless and worthless would I be if I had a woman and she wasn't doing that for me?
All right, let's go ahead and get into it, man. Seems to be that your woman's calling you for every single thing. Is that a good thing, bad thing? Let's go ahead and dive into it. Let me go ahead and go to Louise first. What are your thoughts about that? She calls you for everything.
Well, that means that you're reliable. I mean, there are a lot of unreliable people out here that don't know how to show up for their significant others or their people in their community or in proximity to. So, I mean, I think on one side it's good because she respects you and she finds that you're reliable. I think on another side, some people might look at is if she didn't call you, like let's say for example, I had a woman tell me like she got into a car accident and she didn't call her man. And she stopped and wondered to herself, damn, like why didn't I do that? And then she realized that she didn't respect them. She didn't respect them. And because she didn't respect them, it was because she didn't call them that in the moment that happened. So you could tell that by the example that the brother was giving out that his woman is in tune with him and she respects him and respects his his ability to show up for her. So I think it's good, especially if the relationship is heading in the right direction. Um, I think that there are certain things that are a little bit nuanced as far as why your woman should call you. She should be able to kind of handle small tasks on herself. But I think for the larger things that you expect the man to show up for, would want her to call you and not some friend in HR that she knows. Are you?
All right. Come on, Sweeney. It's too early for that, brother. That was a long. Go ahead, be mad. What are your thoughts about it? She calls you for everything.
No, I agree with Luis. I think he's pretty on point with that. It sounds like you're reliable, someone that she trusts, that she believes in, someone that you're somebody that she looks up to, that she feels as though has the answers. You're someone that's probably taught her a great deal as well. And you want your woman to look up to you. You want your woman to come to you for answers. You want her to come to you and consult with you when she has questions or she has a problem she's trying to figure out that she can't quite do on her own. That's part of being that other half, that other part, that yang to that yin. So yeah, I think it's a great thing. If she doesn't ever come to you, if she doesn't ever call you, she doesn't lean on you in any way, shape, or form, you might want to keep an eye on that because she's asking somebody, whether it's her friends, whether it's another guy, and you want to check that shit and you want to, be mindful of that. You don't want to be the other guy. Yes, you don't want to be. You don't want to be the guy that doesn't get the phone call.
Exactly. Well, Dad, what are your thoughts about it, sir? She calls you for everything.
Yeah, my fiance called me for everything, bro. So I appreciate it. I mean, because that means that she's considering my thoughts, just like the other gentleman have said. That means she trusts you, she relies on you, she has faith in you. Otherwise, why would you want to be with a woman that doesn't call you for everything? It also allows you to see that she's willing also to be submissive to some regard, right? Because she's listening to your counsel and your wisdom in the decision-making process. And as they already said, if she's not calling you, she calling somebody. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody, I'll say women specifically like to have conversations, right? But they also like to have answers and resolve, and they want somebody to be able to say, whether it's an amen corner, typically, right? Or if it's a situation where they are in a bind, they want to be able to get out of that bind because that's a lot of pressure, whatever that situation may be. And if they are not calling you, then they're calling somebody else that they can be, that they feel like is more reliable. And if she's not calling you, then she's definitely not the one for you.
Yeah, I agree with that. Go ahead, Cloud Jones. What are your thoughts about it, sir? She calls you for everything.
I would say I agree with everything that everyone said so far. I mean, her calling you is a sign that you're reliable. I guess just to add a little contrast or maybe push back, I guess to point out a negative side, I think that the only negative side of that would be if you have someone a princess mentality, and so they're calling you all the time for, for things that they can do themselves, things that they don't actually need you for, but they just want someone to, just be on call for them. So I think if it's a situation like that where they're just being wanting you to be on call for them for all of their basic needs, I think that can go into a very bad place for the relationship. But overall and in general, I would say it's definitely a great thing to have a woman that's calling you when it comes to making decisions. Like Humble Dad said, it's a very clear indicator that she's willing to be submissive. So I think it's a good thing overall.
Man, Cloud, I'm not used to you sounding like that, man. You got your whole setup going.
Yeah.
You sound much different, man. But good stuff. Brother Hank, what are your thoughts? She calls you for everything.
Well, I guess I'm gonna be the goddamn black sheep. Fuck this. You're not gonna call me for every goddamn thing.
What?
Yeah, I need some downtime. I mean, that means I'm always on call. No, hell no. First of all, in our time, I hope I taught you enough to be able to function by yourself. I hope I taught you enough to be able to do certain things that you can handle by yourself without me making the decisions. So if I'm hanging out with my boys at the bar watching football, I got to get a call. Should I get paper or plastic? God damn it, what the fuck are we doing here? We're not doing this shit, man. No. So I need a woman who's smart enough, who's intelligent enough, who has some level of independence, just in case I get sick. I'm down. I'm not available at work because my job, I'm not always available to answer phone calls or text messages. So are you just gonna sit at the store or sit at wherever you are for 4 or 5 hours waiting for my decision? No. I need for you to be able to function by yourself. So all the time, I can't do it, man. I can't. So I guess I'm the outcast. So be it.
Well, I think you make a good point, Hank. Because I've been on that side, man. When you like, God damn, like another one.
I was gonna ask for some context because I think all of us, I think all the fellas that came before Hank was responding, and I think they were only referencing situations where they want to be called for that type of situation. Because there are some times when your woman call you, I guarantee you looked at your phone like, God damn, and then she tell you what you want to talk about.
Sweeney, ain't that it?
Like that's what you called me for?
Hey man, look here. I can't take a shit without getting a goddamn phone call.
Man, let me tell you what happened at work today.
I gotta wipe my goddamn ass to resolve these issues. Paper or plastic? No, baby, don't save the planet. Get paper, whatever, man. No, we're not doing that.
Because I remember a few weeks ago we talked about what a lot of men don't like to talk to their women about, and we know when he said when Buddy said that she calls him for everything, he means everything. And I know y'all don't want to be called for everything. That includes situations at work, what's going on at the house, whether she feeling some type of way about the blinds not dropping as normal as they do, or the sun shining too hard. There's a lot of shit a woman would call you for in a day. I know. And I'm sorry. I don't agree with y'all. I don't believe y'all. I don't think y'all want to be called for everything.
So
Sweeney, you know what? Sweeney,
you coming to the talk side, baby?
I was already there. That's why I was just letting them talk.
Here's the thing, too, though. I think just a lot of women don't want to make any decisions. I don't think they want to make any decisions. I think, especially if they have somebody like yourself that they feel comfortable and confident in, they just feel good about taking the back seat and just like let Bae make the decision, let Bae shoot the shot, let Bae pull the trigger, let Bae, And personally, that don't bother me at all. But I feel you, Hink, on that paper and plastic bullshit. I ain't worried about that. I ain't trying to do all that paper and plastic. That shit get annoying as hell. I ain't gonna lie. But especially if it's early on, you want her to come to you. But when you been in it for a long time, you like, baby girl, you ain't learned nothing from me this amount of years. You ain't learned nothing from me yet.
Isn't that also on you though? Be mad, and isn't that also accompanied on the man, because he set the tone for the relationship for her to constantly come to him, even for the big stuff, the small things. So I think there's a part to be played in terms of having that established early on. Like, hey, look, if you're having issues about, your car is stuck, or you have a problem at work, or there's somebody at the house, whatever, you can call me and I'll be there, etc. I think that once you start introducing these small little nuances like paper and plastic, or what I'm saying, do you want cherry on tonight's dessert or whatnot, like then it just becomes like, all right, that's a bit much. But again, I think that's a tone in a conversation that has to be set from the very beginning.
See,
Yeah,
y'all
I
still
see what you're
talking about
saying.
y'all still
I,
talking about situations where you want to be called, situations like decision making.
yeah.
I'm not talking about the other side of everything. Everything is everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's
All
not
right.
just oh well, should we get the lights in this company or in this company type deal, or should we go with this mortgage lender or that mortgage lender? It's everything. And I guarantee you, y'all don't want it. I've
I think
seen
I think that comes down to what type of woman you got, man. You got to know your woman. You got to know how smart she is. You got to know how competent she is. You got to know how good of a problem solver she is or isn't. Like, and you got to step in on that. You got to know what you're dealing with. You got to know who you picked. At the end of the day, you got to know who you picked.
But wouldn't you question if she has to call you for everything? I
Right?
would
Yeah,
question
no
her
doubt, no
intelligence.
doubt,
And
no
she's calling me for
doubt.
everything.
I would question that.
I'm like,
For every
damn, baby.
little minute thing, then yes, that comes back on you though, because you chose her.
See, but that goes against what y'all just said earlier. Where y'all
No,
like to be
no, no,
called for
no, no.
everything. You don't want
It
to get called for
does.
everything.
You come
And
on
then
over to the dark side, big bro.
next thing you know, you talking about you picked wrong because she calling you for everything.
I think everything within reason, Sweeney. Everything within reason.
All right, let me get some other gentlemen in there. Go ahead, Sir Hale. What are your thoughts about it? Then we go to Shan.
If your woman is calling you for everything, she needs you to tap her out real nice. Y'all missing it. Anytime your woman is calling you for everything, what she's really telling you, she needs some attention. So what you do is set some time apart, give her what she needs, put that thing on her, put it on it, let her know how she feels. And once you get done with that, she's gonna be just fine. The problem that so many men have is that you respond to every little gesture that she makes, and you think that's what she wants. What she really wants, for the most part, give her some dedicated attention. Like, she needs to know that she's a priority. Put that thing on her and leave her alone, and she's gonna be just fine.
But Sir Hale, what if she calling you all the time just to be checking up on you?
While you hitting that thing,
they'll come up with some lame excuses.
I got
hey,
you.
I was thinking about you, but I was wondering if you wanted grilled chicken or baked.
I got you. So when you hitting that thing, you tell her how you feel. Listen, don't you be calling me for everything now. Now you can decide yourself. Call your friend. Why? But you got to do when you hitting that thing. And then once you're done with this, let her do what she does. I just help some relationships right now.
Sweeney, we got another one. Welcome to the dark side, Sir Hale. Welcome to the dark side.
Well, I've been here for 16 years, man.
Let me ask y'all a question real quick. To kind of it still ties in. So your woman's out there, right? You've been paying for AAA for the last 10 years. She done finally went out there and fucked something up. Who should she call first? You or AAA?
Well, first of all, let's get something right. Finally, she starts off screwing stuff up. If you marry, women can't drive for the most part. I don't care what race, I don't care what continent, I don't care what country. Something gonna happen to your car. So let's just start there. But you want her to call you for those little things, and I'm gonna tell you why. You're a woman who, and everybody said this, who respects you, is not that she needs your help. She just likes the feeling that she can call you and she knows you got her, right? So as soon as she call you, you can tell her to call Triple H or whatever. It is that women like that constant feeling that my man got me, and I know I'm good no matter what. You see what I'm saying? And us men got to accept that. If you want a feminine woman is going to be needy to some degree. You got to learn how to take that. It seems like a negative, but that's what comes with femininity.
I'm gonna have to disagree, man. You flip your car over. Call the ambulance. Call 911 first. Don't call. Talking about some man. My car done flipped over.
In an emergency situation, please call emergency. Call 911. But when it comes to cars, I need to tell you from personal experience, your woman will call you and needs to call you. Absolutely. We have to make Yeah, this is situational. You know, it has some nuance to it, but I'm gonna give you a personal situation. My wife's transmission went out in October of last year. She tried to call whoever and get it towed using the insurance. Then it went out again. She didn't tell me about this. She was just trying to take care of it herself. And you know, you want to give them a little bit of independence. Then I was like, okay, this transmission is shot. Stop getting it towed to the house. Get it towed to the shop so I don't have to pay the extra money. They don't think about stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So I finally got it towed to the shop. Solenoid, something in the transmission gone. And they're like $4,000. I was like, I'm buying a new car. Then I get the car towed back to the house. This is her car, mind you. This is a car she owned before we got married. That car is sitting here, just sitting. I went and got her a new car. She calls and says, oh, I forgot. I lost the title. I need to order another one. Guess what? A company is going to come take the car for free and auction it off. Mind you, I had just put new tires and brakes on the rear of the car. The engine is perfect. I changed the coil packs about a year before that. It's pristine. I said, excuse me? And what do you get out of the deal? Nothing. They just take the car for free. She was going to give away a $3,000 engine. Like that car could be sold for parts for at least $5,000. That is what happens when you let women just, when they are out of their depth in an area. I said, don't touch. Tell them people don't pick up this damn car.
Yeah, she made a decision I made at 16.
When they are out of their depth, please do not allow them to do it alone. Oh my goodness.
Trigger Mike, that's a fact. I got stories. We gotta chat about this. I got stories about issues like this.
I said, of course they're gonna come pick it up for free. She was happy too. I was like, yo, they gonna
Mike, was that a Volkswagen you was talking about?
No, Pathfinder.
Okay.
Damn.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Humble. You wanted to say something? Okay. Go ahead, Shannon Rawls. What are your thoughts about it? She calls you for everything.
Yeah, call me for everything. She calls you for everything. Call me when the car break down. I'll figure out the way to go. So the A-type personality, alpha males, that for those that believe in it, they're generally considered the leaders. And they prefer to be in positions of power. Guys with an alpha type personality. And they're comfortable dealing with high levels of responsibility. And so a woman that calls all the time, that's okay for him. He has no problem with that. Now, the problem typically comes when she's calling for the same thing more than once. The one issue that I have with my staff, my employees, or a woman or anybody is that I taught you that once. Why are you asking me again? But calling me for new things is totally fine because I'm a leader. And so
said everything.
You sound like you're riding the fence.
Oh, no, call. She can call for everything because you got to understand something. You guys take this into consideration. Of the 5 love languages, acts of service is the most popular one, and it's that love language that's where a person feels love through help. Men like to help, and women like to, and women, huh?
I was just saying for sure for women, like a lot of women, acts of service.
Yeah, acts of service is the number 1 on the list. What men want in women is the 5 F's, right? We always talk about it. Fit, feminine, friendly, faithful, and fun. That's what we all want from women. What women want from men is the 5 M's, muscular, masculine, manners, monogamous, and money. But men have a job on this planet, and that's protect, provide. But what's the third one? It's to problem solve. The third P of problem solve is what men do. And so if you have no problem solving somebody's life, helping them with this, figuring out how to log in, they can't remember their passwords, they don't know how to set up a new Gmail account. It would be simple shit. Like, should the emergency brake be put down, right? How far you got to go? Everything that she calls you for, like some of the brothers has said, it's not necessarily that she needs the help, but sometimes they just want to know that you're there at all. Dude, my man got me. Some guys are the kind of guys that want his woman to know that he got her. Now, I'll land on this. And here's the problem I'm having today. Too many homies in the friend zone is answering those calls for everything. And I'm sick of that. It's too many men who are getting no return on that investment that's helping and solving all the problems for these women. We already know these women have men for different reasons. She got him for the dick. She got him for the for helping with finances. She got him for putting all her IKEA furniture together and fixing the toilet in the sink leak. Far too many friend zone guys is out there doing a whole lot of man boyfriend work.
Yep.
So if you find yourself, fellas, and we need to start a campaign on this, national campaign. If I'm just your friend, I'm gonna just be your friend, because if you find yourself helping a woman and she's always calling you for everything, but you never call her for anything and you never need her for anything and she never offers anything, but you're not getting nothing in return, ass, gas, or cash, we got to stop that. But if it's your woman, if it's your girl, it's your wife, I would prefer that she calls on you for everything than calling other people and finding out that she didn't sold the car that could have been salvaged and you could have made a quick, easy $5,000.
Hey, Shannon, I wanted to add in. You said that you don't calling for everything includes repeat offenders. Just so you know that. So even if it's the same question, it counts.
Damn, how am I supposed to go after that?
Why would y'all keep a woman around that you wouldn't want to call you?
Well, yeah, I think that he also
But humble dad, I think it depends on what it is, though. That's what I'm saying. I gave the analogy to paper or plastic, baby. Why are we talking about this? Why is this a conversation?
I concur to a degree, right? But I mean, that's an extreme, right? We try not to be like others.
No, paper plastic is not extreme. That's a real thing.
So you have a woman that has called you.
It's an avatar for silly.
So you had a woman that called you and said paper or plastic.
Paper or plastic.
And did you keep her around?
Did I keep her around?
Yeah. It sounds like he just want attention, man. It sounds like you just want your damn attention.
I'm just saying we can't act like it's not a real. But humble dad, when we saying everything, we mean everything. And like Sweeney, no, I said I divorced her. But like Sweeney said,
dang, Hink,
repeat offender.
The paper or plastic. Okay, gotcha.
No, stop humble dad. Stop it.
Well, just a few moments ago,
we ended up getting divorced. That was my ex-wife. So no, it wasn't because of that, but there's other reasons. But nonetheless, that falls up on them, bro. But hey, I understand what y'all saying. If y'all want y'all ladies to call you for everything, right on.
I guess that's what we're trying to get y'all to understand is that we're just saying that everything includes everything, and I don't think anybody wants to be called for everything.
They're gonna let me get my answer.
Yes. Oh, go ahead, Trigger Mike.
Again, it sounds like an extreme. It sounds like an extreme, Sweeney, is what you on. Like you on a far. Right.
It's not extreme. Everything includes everything, right?
My woman need to call me, and that's all I'm gonna say. I'm done with it. Just call me. You got a problem? Call me. If your girl got a problem, she can call me too.
We got to nail this one down because this is a teachable moment, fellas, for the ladies. We don't want them to gaslight this one. We want them to understand. So this is a teachable moment for them. Damn, y'all did this one up. Only thing I can add is that your woman calling you for everything, and I want you to understand that in today's age, when women think they know everything and can do everything absent of a man, this is extremely important. This is an extremely important milestone in your relationship or marriage. So a woman calling you for everything means that she finally trusts in your logic and problem-solving ability. So don't take that for granted. I almost did, because it is annoying. It is really annoying for an adult. And you actually feel like you're doing two jobs. All right. So my wife became a healthcare administrator. I am a healthcare administrator. I was literally answering phones on how she should do things at work so she could feel proud of herself. And at times I was like, damn, I should just go there and do the work. But even still, I had to take inventory and say, this is actually what I've asked for. This is what I wanted. And I'm not going to step on this moment. And I feel like it's incumbent upon us as men, because don't do what I did. Don't be like, damn, like, have that blowout. Like, can I just get 2 minutes? Because she does call me for everything. If a woman calls you, especially with those repeats, because that happens, and we talking about 1 or 2, no, 3, 4, 5, 6, it'll be a repeat question coming to you. it is then your job as a man, and I don't do this often because I like to push the responsibility back on the women, but I got to do it this time. When a woman trusts in your logic and problem solving capability and comes to you repeated times, it's your job to then give her certainty and fortitude. Because now when my wife calls me with the same problem, I tell her she already knows what to do. I give her that fortitude to be certain that I'm going to be proud of the decision you make because we went over this already. And that decreases the amount of calls that I get ultimately, because she's like, "You right. I went ahead and did it, and I made a good decision." And that'll give them the fortitude to continue to make those decisions. And we also have to understand why women are doing that over and over again. They're actually afraid. And I didn't hear anybody say this. You have to understand that if you're in a family, y'all have kids, women have tried in today's age to be men. We know they're going to fail. And one area where women fail in this is that they don't want the blame for error when it hurts the family. That's why they're calling you. If they do something that ends up hurting the family, costing y'all large amounts of money, something that you have to fix, and it's a catastrophe, that is a huge blow to a woman. Somebody said it, she don't feel covered anymore. Like, well, you should have helped me with this. I only had to hear that one time. All right, one time. And to know that they don't like taking blame for everything. We already know this. That's why they're calling on repeat. Of course, there are some things where you absolutely need to take it over and say, nope, I got this. Thank you for calling me. Thank you for letting me know. But yeah, just give her that certainty and that fortitude to make easy decisions herself. And I've noticed that is how wives learn to do things that exactly the way their husband wants in their absence.
If your coworker was to come to you and ask you these same, you will look like he's an incompetent person. He's incompetent or she's incompetent.
You don't mean coworker though, do you? Because it's not good acknowledgement.
Here's the thing: women get weak when you hitting it. She could be the most competent woman in the world. If she letting you hit that and you her dude, she's becoming weak for you. It ain't that she's incapable. Is that she done became weak. She's become vulnerable to you. And now she's relying on you. And that's what I said. Men gotta accept this. I'll give you a real story that happened this week. So me and my wife were talking. We had a come to Jesus moment, and my wife really, she gets really emotional. And she was, kind of moody for a little bit. And she said something that kind of took me aback a bit. She said, babe, sometimes I'm like this because I'm afraid that I'm not going to make you proud. And she said that. And at first, I thought she was just talking, but she was in tears. She wants to make me proud. And I think a lot of men miss that. Like, we miss moments because either we're busy or we're not in the right frame of mind. A lot of us don't understand women and how they operate, how they move, their emotional foundation. We don't understand that. So we take what's feminine and it becomes irritable. It's amazing. We say we want a woman that's feminine, and then the stuff that comes with femininity, we think is just beauty and sexuality, but it's the indecisiveness. It's the dependence on a man. That comes with femininity as well. And it taught me how to have a bit more patience for my wife, and that one of her ways of showing me love was doing things in such a way to make me proud. So if she calls me about paper or plastic, that's her telling me she wants to make me proud. And I got to honor that. Right, that comes with the territory of having a feminine woman. She wants to do little things to make you proud. As you get older, that changes. But what would you rather have? A woman who calls you too much or a woman who calls you too little? What would you really prefer?
I'd rather
a woman that calls me where she's somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, because to me, if I'm dating a woman and she's doing that, I'm thinking, God damn, she's incompetent.
Mm-hmm.
I can't deal with that.
That's unfortunate.
I can't deal with a dumb chick. I can't deal with a helpless dumb chick. I don't want to deal with that.
But hey, is she incompetent because she was unable to make a decision in the moment, or is she incompetent because you gave a clear linear direction that she was unable to follow?
Well, now if I gave her direction, now that lets me know I'm teaching her, and now she can function on her own and do some of the things that she needs to be doing on her own because I told her that.
Even with women, at times you have to repeat things to them. They sometimes won't get it right the first time, and you might
That's
need
people in general. That
No,
ain't
you
just
know,
Lou, I understand that, and that's why I'm educating. I'm a teacher, and I'm a shower.
yeah, I think it's
If I gotta
also,
keep doing this now, this is a problem. I'm
no,
like,
but
dude,
I also
now I gotta
think,
rely on this same woman to teach my kids, my son.
I also think the disagreement here is actually very important to note, because every woman cannot be with every man. If the way Hink is talking needs to come across in the dating process of what he's looking for in a woman. These dainty types that don't like to take blame, that don't like to step up to the plate, that ain't that I got you, sir. Like these daughters, let me tell you something. There was I was living in an apartment building here in Houston, like when the hurricane happened, one of the big hurricanes we had back to back. Some Marine's daughter, this lady just put her hair up and started moving stuff all over the place. Like everybody was like, who the hell is this female? And where we were all huddled up, she told us her story, told her how she was taught to just execute stuff, right? That's the type of woman Hink needs to get with, to where she takes orders. She takes it in with precision, will execute that order. So there are different women, that every man can tolerate. Yeah, there are some women who are completely anything coming dealing with anything, their hands are broke. I don't know how to do it. There are some women like that, and that's just obviously not the type of woman Hink like. So I think it's important to know that there are different attitudes about this.
Yeah, I apologize, Hink, because if that's your preference, that's your preference.
Hink is capping.
My wife
Hink
calls
is,
me
I can
for
tell you on this live, Hink is capping. Hink is one of the most masculine, manly dudes. He is going to attract women who typically have that personality where they want to lean on him. So he can say all this tough stuff online. The kind of dude he is, he's going to attract women who's going to rely on his leadership.
Oh snap! You know what? And then after a good night, well, he willing to do all of it too. After he get drained, he's super agreeable.
I don't know what the hell talking about. They crazy. He crazy.
So in the middle of the act, if she asks you to do something, you go like, nah, babe.
Yeah, he gonna say no, then he gonna get drained and be like, you know what?
He secretly gets joy out of his woman needing him. He'd be frustrated, but he got a joy that his girl calling him. So he's capping.
So hell, I promise you, I'm not.
I was gonna say, because my wife calls me for a whole lot, but she don't call me for everything, and I'm completely cool with that. I will say this though: that time when she don't call you, it'll fuck you up. Like she ain't talked to you, you ain't called, she ain't called all day. You be like, damn, what the fuck? I know everything ain't
I
right.
kind of want to ask this one question before we move on. So, what if you met her? She was doing everything on her own, like you knew she was able to do it, but once she got in a relationship with you, then she decided to start to lean on you a little bit more. Like, would that make a difference, or would you still say that she's nagging you or bugging you? Or would you look at it differently, saying that she feels as though she don't have to do everything anymore?
I think that makes you even doper as an individual. If she did everything by herself, and then she was like, you know what, I got me a dude that I can call on and rely on to take off my shoulders, because I'm kind of like with B. Madden. I think he said it like women typically don't necessarily want to make the decision. Trigger Mike said women typically don't want to put the family in a position that is to the detriment of the family, right? So if she's putting it on you, that means that she has a lot of trust in you. I mean, to go from doing it independently and then relying on you, that's a big move to me.
Okay. We go ahead.
What's your opinion on it?
I can understand how I feel it comes off as nagging. But then again, I also think on the flip side, she could be calling somebody else, asking these questions. It depends on what she's asking too. I mean, if she's asking you advice, your insight on something that's a little bit deeper, then I think you can look at it as though she trusts your judgment. She trusts your problem solving. But if it's something that's like real simple, like paper or plastic, I'm like, come on, they tell you come here. And you're like, what? And then you come here, you told me to come here for this? Like, God damn, I'm sitting here doing a live stream. But it's just all situational. It's all situational. It just depends on what it is. But I do think everybody making some valid points. I do think that if she's not calling you at all, then I think it's an issue. Because I mean, most women that I know, they don't want to have to think for themselves in a lot of situations, especially if it's masculine things or things that a man should be deciding on. But it's something that's real simple. They should be calling you for every little thing. Like, no, that's my thoughts on it.
Jay, I will just to your point. I'm thinking most women do this when things are changing. Like if something is stable, like is monotonous, you really don't get a lot of questions. Typically, when the environment is changing, you guys move to a new neighborhood, there's a new job, a baby. That's when you start to hear this. So I think men have to understand that if you're with a woman, there's going to be a season of her relying on you, and it's going to be a constant call because something has changed. But as you guys spend time there and it becomes routine, I think that kind of dies down some. So, and this is true, especially if it wasn't like that when you were dating, but then you get married and then you have a kid or something like this. That's part of the adjustment phase in any relationship. So, I want to offer that perspective as well.
Because there's a routine that's taking place. So there's not so much of having to ask a lot of questions because it's scenarios that have already been addressed, I would say.
I was just going to say, I mean, life is always changing, in my opinion. It's always something new. I mean, you think about growth, you think about experiences, situations, as you said. So to me, it's going to always be something that's going to be different in life, period. So it's going to cause people to react different and respond differently. Sometimes chemicals just get a little bit imbalanced as they get older, start to get a little bit more irritable. So I think people, that's the point I'm just making, is that, I mean, I don't think nothing's consistent when it comes. I don't think nothing is routine in a relationship. I think it's just going to keep changing. If it is routine, then it's probably boring. That means y'all not interacting, y'all not doing nothing, y'all just doing the same exact thing every single day. But if you are experienced, if you are living life, if you are moving around, and you're going to just start to see things shift and change for the good and for the worse and for the unknown. All right, let's go ahead and move on. And if you guys just tuned in, welcome to King Talk. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. We have one super chat that came through, and this is from Caesar's Palace, $5. Also a member, says, sir, have more black women look at their men in those eyes, we as a whole would have less problems in our relationships. Most black women don't. Salute to you for that. Let's go ahead and move on to our next conversation for the night. Get rid of this comment. This one y'all been seeing floating around, at least for the past couple of days, about the woman dating the bus driver. Since I got the guys on the panel, I think it'd be only right if we give our opinions about it. I'm gonna go ahead and play the clip. Took the video part out of it, so it's just the audio with a pic. And she did respond to the viral clip as well. So I have those tied in there together. So just be patient as I play a longer clip than usual.
Would you date a bus driver? Would you date
if he owns the bus? If he owns it. If he owns the bus.
See, that's a problem. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay. Because the standards and requisites, and I'm not talking about him laying on his sofa playing video games all day. I'm not talking about that. But the standards and the criteria that we use to measure men is off for who we are as women and who they are in this society. I would date a bus driver if he loved driving the bus, if he was a man of integrity, if he was good to his mama, if he treated me well, I would date a bus.
So out of the 50,000 plus comments posted on social, I only saw a handful that even considered the possibility of a bus owner being a more aspirational position and recognizing that I am actually speaking and pouring into the ascension of black men when I said what I said. But see, no, some of y'all were too busy naming and shaming me personally and black women in general as undesirable, gold diggers, and much worse. Now, I suspect that some of y'all are the same men that were bringing home C's and D's on your report cards, only to then be coddled by parents that said, well, that's okay, as long as you're doing your best. Well, listen, I love and believe in the excellence of black men. So no, my dear, C's and D's or any other form of mediocrity is not okay. No, I will not create a soft place for you or anybody that I love to fall comfortably into the bigotry of low expectations. So I'm going to say one more time, there's absolutely nothing wrong with driving a bus. My mother Gloria drove one for years. But could it be that Black America has been sold a narrative of average, regular, and typical being good enough for us? Well, see, that's called white supremacy. And in this case, it takes the form of conditioning Black Americans to happily accept being a permanent American underclass. But see, because I know the truth about Black folk in America, no, average is not and will never be good enough for me. And the gag is, I don't think it's good enough for you either.
All right. Shannon, you okay? I'm gonna go to you first, Shannon.
You can't make this up. You can't make this. I'm talking. I wonder, do women hear other women and cringe and say, "Damn, is that me? Am I like that?" The fact that I tell people all the time, don't waste the opportunity to apologize with an excuse. Don't waste the opportunity to apologize with an excuse. The gaslighting that we just heard, the fucking sign language, the C's and D's, you must have got those in, you average, and I'm just looking at the greatness of Black men. And that's what no, motherfucker, you simply said you wanted a man that owned the bus company. And if he didn't own the bus company, he couldn't date you. It is what it is. Don't come in here with the cleaning it up, trying to shame people for telling them what they saw, and then gaslight them about what, well, don't you see the greatness in you? Because I do. And then turn around and say, I wouldn't settle for average, and I don't think you should too. You simply fucked up. All you had to do was say, you know what? I didn't think before I spoke, which is what happens with a lot of women. Your mouth is faster than your brain. And her mouth was faster than her brain. And she spoke, when Ayanna asked her that question, she spoke too goddamn soon. And she wasted an opportunity to apologize with an excuse. And the other part, the need to be right. I mean, it's sign language incarnate. And it's cringy to hear because so many women listen to that stuff and identify with that attitude. And I'm praying that more and more women wake up and say, I hope I'm not like her. And if I am, tell me, so I can be exactly the opposite of what we just heard. What's her name? Ebony K. Williams say, because that shit was a goddamn travesty.
You know what's interesting? So I caught like the portion that she was speaking to before that, and she was speaking to the fact that men cannot. She was talking about how men aren't able to meet the expectation. You know what I mean? They're not living up to society standards. They're not meeting expectations. So when Ayanna asked her that question, she immediately proved Ayanna's point in saying that no, you don't want somebody that meets expectations. You wanted somebody that goes over and beyond, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm cool with her wanting that. You know what I mean? She's where she's at. She's successful. So she wants a man that owns a bus, you know what I mean? To be a bus, to own a bus rather than drive the bus. I'm not mad at that. The problem is that she was speaking for women and saying, hey, look, these men aren't meeting expectations. That's why our women can't find men. And then when Ayanna asked her that question, she pretty much, and I guarantee you, a lot of women agreed with it, was like, yeah, if he owns a bus company, I'd date him. Well, you just proved Ayanna's point. That it ain't that the men aren't meeting expectations. Your expectations are just too damn high. And hers, in that sense, what she was speaking to is too damn high. Because I guarantee you, she doesn't own the network that she's doing that show on. You don't own none of that shit. But you want this man to own the bus because to drive it? It's wild.
Damn, that's a good point. You don't own the network you talk on, but he got to own the bus company.
Granted, I did look up the average salary for bus drivers, and it is pretty low.
I did too.
Are we looking at the same numbers? Because I've looked at them today. Bus drivers in New York make 6 figures.
Man, look, you can't talk about New York. New York is different. I'm talking about
New York prices. Even the national average is about
23 anywhere.
Well, no, we're talking about bus drivers. We're not talking about school bus drivers. There's a difference. I want people
Okay,
to make sure.
now that is the
We're not
difference.
talking about school bus drivers. We're talking about bus drivers, right? The national average for bus drivers, I looked it up, it's just under 84,000.
She's in New York City though.
You know what I'm saying? Oh,
she lives,
but
she
like,
lives and works in New York City.
There's bus drivers that make at least 140, 150, and the high end 166 in New York City. Like her part because she makes it seem like we're talking about like an Uber Eats driver versus someone who actually works for the city or the state. Like that's where the conflation starts happening in being disingenuous. Into Ebony's into Ayana's point, she brought up virtues. She talked about virtues about the man. She talked about him caring about her as a woman, him respecting her as a woman, him showing up for her, him loving and respecting his mother, values, things that have seemed to gone out the window. And this is why a lot of men out here are very convinced that these women don't give a fuck about these damn virtues, values, and principles and stuff like that. As long as the bag is green and is heavy, they will grab that versus a man that's more virtuous. Why?
So I'm sorry. Go ahead, Luis. Sorry
Yeah, I was gonna land. This is why you see, young women gravitate towards the dope boy or the scammer and stuff like that. It's not because they're virtuous people. I mean, obviously we're talking about criminals, but at the same token, we're talking about their ability to garner a certain type of lifestyle or garner a certain amount of money in a short period of time. So it comes down to money. You know what I'm saying? And sort of to the rest of the spoils go.
And then here's how much it cost. It costs nearly almost $400,000 to $700,000 to own a bus, to buy a bus, right? And then to operate that bus will cost you an additional $400,000 to $500,000 a year. So she's well beyond wealthy, a generally wealthy person in America. She's gone far beyond that to say that she goes from I won't date a bus driver to he has to own a bus. She's talking about a millionaire.
So I want us to get off the money for a minute. That's not really the issue here. So when a woman is of a certain bracket, it's not about what you make, it's about how she looks with you. And so I think she's speaking from that perspective that she can't go to her friends who are doing the same job and it looks good. So let's say he was making 60,000, but he was this great scientist who had just achieved something. Well, because he has status, he makes her look good. And the truth is, so many women are not really interested in the man. They're interested on how that man makes them look and how he fits into her lifestyle. So, and I think that's the problem that Iyanla was speaking to. Now, here's the interesting part. Iyanla can come to that conclusion because she's older and she probably went through that same phase. And looking back in retrospect, can see that a man is much more than what he earns and what his title is. Right. And my thing with this is I would hope that younger women would take Iyanla's advice to recognize that it's better to figure out the quality of a man and what he really is earlier in life than to wait until you're 50-something, 60-something, looking back, wishing you would have dated the bus driver who was the man that you wanted. You see what I'm saying? So again, so it's not about the money, it's about the look. And I would hope that they take her advice, because there's a lot of good men who get passed on because to her, he doesn't make her look better in her lifestyle.
I agree with you. I agree with you that I think that you're absolutely right that it's more about the image. I think the problem also, the reason why I brought up money is that while they're considering how it makes them look, they never consider the cost or what that actually looks like in real life when we talk about money. And I think that's the problem also, is that you can have this vision of what you think what your man should look like, what his job title should be, but you have to also understand what that job title entails, how much it costs, because you don't even know. I think Kevin Samuel spoke to this a lot. A lot of these women want something, they don't even know where to look.
So to that point, Sweeney, when Iyanla asked her a very logical question, her emotions responded. She didn't really consider what she was saying, and she thought that it was going to be a lot of women rallying around her. Like she put no thought into what she said. And then to Shan's point, it's almost like she went back to double down because she's like, you know what, stand your. I bet you she got some girlfriends. Girl, stand your ground, stand on your square, let them know how you really feel, right? Because she didn't think about what she was saying, and she recognizes now that in one breath she's saying she wants excellence for Black men, while at the same time talking about the C in these students, which doesn't consider the fact that maybe they didn't have opportunities for it. So it's like,
but grades don't determine your
is devoid of intelligence for a person who's talking about C and D students. Her response mirrors the insult that she gave to a lot of Black men. So she didn't think before she responded.
Yo, I definitely.
I mean, does it really matter now because she came back and doubled down.
Okay, no, I'm with you.
No,
go ahead, Humble Dad.
She came back and doubled down. I think that the thing about it is that what I wrote about it was that she wants the guy that's already established himself, and she doesn't want to come along. She wants to already be established, and so therefore she doesn't have anything to do to help him build. Right. So if she already wants him to be a bus driving own the company, then what work does she have to do? Right. So in my opinion, I think y'all talked about this before, maybe, that if a woman is able to get a man on his way up, she has a better chance of being able to build with him, and he sees her differently than the man has found and got all of his wealth. And now you want to come along and be on his coattail, right? Those are two different individuals. And so she's not understanding that also, that just because a man makes a lot of money doesn't mean anything as it relates to his integrity, his character, his faith, his masculinity, his leadership. It doesn't really necessarily entail those things. And that's what's unfortunate, that women that think that because a man makes a lot of money, that's going to make her better or make her look better, then at the end of the day, she's going to have a hard time inside of that relationship and inside of that marriage, because the first thing that she saw was that he made a lot of money, as opposed to what non-tangible things did he bring in aftermath.
So
I definitely want to add to what he said real quick. I agree with what Sir Hale and Humble Dad said. I also think that it speaks to the lack of just financial literacy and financial education in our community, because I think that for a lot of particularly Black women, I think that they associate status with money. Like they think that, for example, when they hear drug dealer, they hear doctor, they hear lawyer, they automatically associate those high status positions with high income. But sometimes that's not the case. Sometimes you have doctors that are in debt and really aren't making that much money, where you have someone who might be a garbage man that's making more than the doctor's actually making. But I think because their only understanding of finance, it's very influenced by like the media, and so by them being so focused on status, they're completely uneducated about how the system actually works and what industries are actually generating the actual income. You know what I'm saying? Whereas when you leave our community and you go in other communities, let's say Asian communities or African communities, all type of places, they hear coding, and that's what perks their ears up. They hear engineering, and that's what perks their ears up. They hear programming, and that's what gets them, because they're not looking for the status. They actually are looking at what actually has a productive value in the society. So I think it definitely speaks to a lack of financial and economic education.
Absolutely. Community. Can I add to that, Dan Clark? Because business owners don't always make six figures. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
They and that also business owners spend a lot of time in their business if they don't have people working for them as it relates to buying back their time. So it'll be interesting to hear what she means by own the business, because a person or a man that owns a business may not always have the amount of time that she may require from him as well. So
it may not be profitable either.
Yeah. The bus driver. So I had to react to this one and I'm gonna do a reaction tomorrow to her response. She botched that, and I thought she was gonna come out with some level of sincerity and patch it up. Damn, if you talk about Don't touch something because you're gonna make it worse. She did that. She absolutely did that. And my response tomorrow is gonna be called Ebony K. Williams hates black men. I'm sorry. I cannot conclude anything else. And what it really means, and this is something that we need to speak about, is that black women are now embarrassed by black men. And we don't have to accept their embarrassment because their expectations are unrealistic. For your information, the black American man is the richest black man in the world. There are billions, and I'm not lying, billions of women looking to come get with an honest black man doing an honest day's work, such as a bus driver. There are places around the world where African men, black men, do not work but half a year. So, I get what she's saying, or she's trying to say. So let me take it to a woman that's on her level, so to speak. I have no idea why black women think all women are Ebony K. Williams. Unfortunately, black women are the second poorest group of people in the United States of America. I see a lot of women do this because I know a lot of affluent blacks, but because you look around you and there's 1,000 black women flourishing and y'all are sorority girls and making money, there are 1 million Keishas out there making not a goddamn dime. And you forget that's bad math. 1,000 to 1 million is a failure. So around you in your circle, you may see success, but the world of other black women, the world full of other black women are failing. You have to look at that too and do those numbers that way. Now, women like her, unfortunately, they're projecting. They're actually projecting because what they are projecting is their failed strategy. They waited too long. The man that she was supposed to get, like every other woman does, while you could have done it all at the same time. That's the one thing they don't ever want to admit. You did not have to wait to have kids. You did not. My uncle went to medical school with 4 children. My aunt went to nursing school with 4 children. You don't have to wait on anything. It will be difficult. Get your family involved. Create a plan to do it all at the same time. You could have got married in your 20s. That would have been better for you. And that's exactly how you get a man of that caliber. And look around. Every woman that got a man like that started with him somewhere where he had nothing. You might be able to get a man on the back end after he divorced his first and second wife. Okay, but that's the best you're going to do if we're being real. If you want a man of that caliber. Now, let me give y'all another ounce of truth. Ladies, I'm talking to you. If you are a high productivity, high yield woman, a man who has that criteria doesn't want you. No man ever says, I want a wife I will never see. I want a wife that works just as many hours as me. I want a wife that works 80 hours a week so we can never see each other. No man says that shit. So you have to understand this, that being a productive woman has no romantic benefit. Except that on day one, when you take the job, except that when you go for the master's degree, being a high yield, high productivity woman has no romantic benefit. A man doesn't find it sexy, nothing. It has no romantic benefit. So when you do it and you wait and you put off all of the important things that most women want in this society, understand you may be risking your legacy. You may be risking the children. You may be risking the husband. God be so good that you live in a country where you can do that. But unfortunately, as we can see, most women will live to regret it. My mic is muted.
Okay. So I got to answer this. This just shows that marketing it worked, right? Like a lot of these women, when I see them today, I can't say I feel sorry for them, but I'm like, the great experiment worked, where we've got our women so married to the consumption of goods, the consumption of status, the consumption of work and making companies, billions of dollars. It worked, right? It worked. So when I see this kind of thing, it makes me realize that it really didn't start with the women. It started with companies and corporations having a plan to leverage, on the dysfunction of Black people. and where we no longer see the intrinsic value in each other. Like a man is what he looks like, what he comes with. This is why we have this whole concept of a man bringing something to the table, because we no longer see that it's valuable having a man at your table. So we just talk about the table and the stuff that's on it, because we no longer see the inherent value in each other. So the experiment worked. Corporations did a great job on our Black women being so married to stuff and to status, so much so that they are willing to spend years of their life gaining it while losing their men and losing the prospect of developing healthy children, Black families that they say that they love so much. So when I hear things like this, I'm like, it all worked. And then you compound that with their mamas probably pushed them into this as well. Girl, don't you let nobody get your womb. Girl, and what a lot of our parents do is they project their regrets on their daughters. So I wish I could have traveled when I was your age, so you go travel. I wish I would have waited. I love you and everything, but I wish I would have waited and did more things in life. And so our daughters are literally living the lives that their mothers wish that they could live. But the thing that's the issue is mothers never tell them the pain on the other side of that. Daughters are left to figure that out by themselves. So I feel in some way sorry for a lot of these women, because they're really doing what they were programmed to do, and it's going to take them getting until like their 40s or their 50s to look back in retrospect when their knees go bad and their options run out, to recognize that they probably made a mistake and not seeing the intrinsic value in their men.
You know what's crazy? I think, again, I have no problem with her wanting that, because like we all know, people tend to marry within a socioeconomic status. We know that without a shadow of a doubt. The problem is, and it speaks to what y'all were saying, the way that they're being raised is counterproductive to the things that they want. Like, if you want that, you're supposed to get that early, because you're supposed to find that guy early on when he's on his trajectory in that direction. And then by the time he reaches his full potential, you would have been married to him for 15, 20 years. The problem is that they're being told to go out there, get it on their own. Well, not necessarily get it on their own, but they go out, they get it on their own. They're independent, and then on the back end, that's when they're trying to find a husband, and they can't find them. And so it's literally counterproductive. Like, so she wants the man that owns the bus company. She wants the one that owns the bus. The bus. The problem is that you didn't get with him when he was just driving the bus. So now you're sitting at the finish line because you done got yours, and you looking at him saying, well, I want him because he got his. And he's like, well, I don't want you because I already got mine. So it doesn't mesh well. Our women are being raised to go counterproductive to what they would normally do.
Well, the sad part about it is that she's influencing another young generation of young women to shit on middle-class men. And that's all she's doing. She's teaching these women and showing these women how to shit on middle-class men. Yeah, you don't want to accept the average man until it's too late. And then when, like you said, when they get in their late 30s, early 40s, all of a sudden the standards are going down, and they're willing and open to go to middle-class men, because they realize everybody can't have that top of 5%, that high-value man, because there's only a certain amount, especially black men, if they want to date black men and not looking to go outside of their race. So now everybody can't get that 5%. So now what do? Either we're going to shack up together and be golden girls, or we're going to figure this out and start accepting the middle-class men and try to make a way out of it. But that's not what she's teaching. That's not what she's showing them. So,
it's a sad moment in our culture, in our society, when I hear comments on social media, especially on Clubhouse, that women talk down on plumbers, tradespeople.
They talking down on plumbers, bro.
I swear, I can't make this up.
They have no what?
I
teach my students that's one of the jobs that they need to be trying to go do.
I know plumbers who are laughing their way to the bank. Yeah. Laughing, skipping, laughing, moonwalking to the bank.
You can charge whatever you want.
Exactly.
Crazy
but
out here.
You got to understand too, we live in a time now. This is where the switches happen. So it's not all women. Let's not say it. Not all, but too many is the way I like to say it. So I think I heard it when I came back in. These jobs are not associated with status. So they don't get to be seen the way they want to be seen. That's it. So what Black women have essentially done is price themselves out of market. You raise your standards too high without realizing that nobody has to meet them. Especially what I said, billions of other women are looking for that man. All right. So you can raise your standards all you want. I don't want plumbers. I don't want blue collar men. Men do not have to acquiesce at all. We can say thank you for your service. Go buy a dog. And like literally, that was the buy a dog and die alone strategy. Go do that while I go look for a woman that appreciates everything that I do. Now, if there's a lot of similarities in the way Hispanic men and Black men are represented in the blue collar workforce. Those women love working men. The Hispanic women do. Literally, they love the sand all over his clothes. They love that shit. So there's no way a Black man can be doing that job, see that, and come home and get disrespected by his Black woman when he's out here doing work that is the lifeblood of the American economy. They are the lifeblood. They don't understand that. They're now pissing and shitting on jobs that literally got us through the pandemic. All right. These people were working when people were sick. They were driving when people needed food. The lifeblood of the American economy. They don't want a man like that anymore. So they've raised their standards too high, and they don't realize that we don't gotta acquiesce and meet them.
And let's keep it real. She getting hauled out by a dude that makes less than a bus driver right now. I guarantee you. I guarantee you she's getting hauled out by a dude that earns less than a bus driver right now.
I disagree.
She definitely is.
I'm gonna tell you why. Like a lot of women who talk like that are frustrated. And I don't see that. I see frustration. I see a woman who got it, who got the bag, who got some decent looks, and men don't want that no more. And so I don't want to go too deep and be disrespectful to her. But there are certain stores made for frustrated women, and I think that
you guys got to remember.
I think that that's what we're seeing. She's frustrated because she's not getting the results that she thought she would get.
Sir Hale, remember she's one of the original housewives in New York.
Explains it all.
She wasn't always a correspondent, ladies and gentlemen. She was a housewife of New York, reality TV star way back in the day. Then she went from there.
I 100% knew it. I said, I don't even agree that she's banging a dude, and she might even be banging a dude, but you got to understand the dude she's going to bring outside. I knew I was going to type in boyfriend, and it was going to be a white guy that showed up. That's how I see her. That's a woman that will absolutely say if she actually wants what she's looking for, she's been associated with a white guy. Now, the funniest thing about it is, for some reason, all these women, it always says ex-fiance, ex-boyfriend. So for some reason, these dudes don't want to take that final step, and it's usually that attitude we see represented in these clips of her talking about men. But I digress.
Let me jump in here real quick. I kind of want to take it back to the clip a little bit. You know, how do you say her name? Alana Van Zant? Ayana, whatever.
You're the only Black man that don't know how to say Iyanla.
Is Elonda?
God damn, never mind.
Yolanda. That, you know what? That is her name.
Like there's no D.
There's
no D.
Miss Van Zant. Basically, you know, going back to the clip, the whole essence of this was, again, talking about average men and average women, and really getting to the point of saying that women have overinflated their value when it comes to dealing with average men. They basically don't want to deal with them at all. At the end of the day, you've got 46 million Black people in this nation, okay, in the United States. The average Black man makes $43,000 on average. The average Black woman makes about $38,000 in this country. I understand her in particularly with whatever status she has and being on TV and all that, necessarily didn't want to date a bus driver, her personally, but Miss Van Zant was talking about average women. letting them know it's okay to date a bus driver. There's nothing wrong with what he's doing. And I saw someone in the chat put up that a guy lived in LA and he was making 120K as a bus driver, as a city bus driver in Los Angeles. You got guys making it. I think someone else pulled up 86,000. Some guys in New York are making, over, $100,000 doing that. And that's great. But I think it goes back to what, Sir Hale and some of the other guys were talking about, was about status. These women just want something that they can brag about, because at the end of the day, a lot of women have been marketed to and told a lie that the only people that have money are doctors, lawyers, engineers, dope boys, scammers, ball players, and rappers. And that's it. They're the only people, they're the only guys that have money. Those are the only guys that they should date, that they should be with. And it's crazy, because those are, again, your 1-2% guys. And there's only so many of those men. And there are millions and millions of more women in this country and around the world than there are men. Black men and black men that make that average amount and even more. So it's crippling black women that are looking for relationships. It's crippling average women that are looking for relationships. It's putting them in the situation to where they're overinflating their value and they're overinflating who they think they should be. And now most of them already only mess and screw with the top 10%, 20% of dudes already. So, and they're the ones that's having the babies. All the women are having babies with those same top guys. You're just alienating a huge percentage of men that you can actually have functional relationships with, that you can actually marry, and that will probably be faithful to you and be with you and love everything about you. Even pedestalize you or whatever. But the way that this is going now is just more and more destructive to our community, because we can't build more black families at the end of the day.
Do y'all think it's that many good men that are just being passed over? Like, y'all really believe that?
I would say that 60% of them are out there.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of good men that get passed up.
Okay, so 60% of men have good character, good integrity, have a plan, and are ready to be married. That's what you're saying.
Do you know what's so unintelligent about that style of thinking and that status thing that they do? If women are actually looking for millionaires, I believe the top 3 millionaires in the United States of America are accountant, engineer, and school teacher. Those are the top 3 people that become millionaires over a span of time in the United States. Look it up. Doctors do not. Their student loans prevent them from becoming millionaires. That's a fact. So all of this prestige that you're looking for doesn't even equate to exactly what you think it does. I read a book about that once, just giving a backstory. Look it up. Accountant, engineer, school teacher is number 3. They develop programs. They start working for publishers. They sell programs to publishers of books. I even created a little itty bitty one I sold for a few thousand a few years ago. Go look it up. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I agree with that. So Humble Dad, you were asking, how many men out there? Well, let's just distill it to just overall men, or men just within the black community. I would.
Black community. I don't think that. This is my personal opinion. Like, I don't have. I can just talk from what I see when I'm conversing with some of you guys, is that I don't think y'all actually want to be married. I think it's more of a talking point to have, as opposed to actually looking for a wife. That's what I'm saying. Because if you believe in the law of attraction, then law of attraction says that you attract who you are, right? And so if you are a man, in such a man that is ready and wanting to be married, it doesn't matter what the race and the nationality of the woman is, then you will be married, right? Because that's what your goal is. But I think oftentimes we do talk about these women, which is fair to some extent. But I also believe that you as a man saying that it's the woman's fault why you're not married when you hold the keys to relationships and to marriage is like counterintuitive. Is what I'm saying.
All right.
Now I got to throw a little bit of responsibility on us brothers. So and here's why. So you look at the music that we listened to growing up. When I grew up, it was Keith Sweat, it was R. Kelly, and it was Brian McKnight, it was all of that. Like we catered to this delusion. I don't think we understood that the explosion of social media would just amplify all of this. And I think the issue here is that men are able to articulate the issue, but because we still have the desire to get that thing, we're still willing to tolerate some of this. And I think that what's going to help address this is men are going to have to pull back. Like you can't be like, I'm going to complain about the issue that these women aren't what I want. But, I do need to hit that though, because, what I'm saying, I got to hit this. I think if we're going to set a standard, it has to be a true standard. And any woman who does not fall in line with that standard, right? I think that she's got to kind of be outside of the list and we can't entertain her. So again, I think it's a real issue, but I think men have a lot of control over this. A lot of what women think is because men, I got money and I got women. Look at the top songs. It's about men achieving a level of status to give a woman a lifestyle that most of them didn't deserve. So we got to do a lot of that, undo a whole lot of that, and then set a standard that if you want a quality man, you're going to have to invest sweat equity. You do not get this for free because I cannot trust you. Somebody said this earlier. I think it was you, Humble Dad, that if a woman builds with a man, then typically there's a level of trust established. And I thought about that. I know men who've divorced their first wife who built with them, right? And then he married somebody else newer and hotter. In critical life moments, his ex-wife is still his emergency contact because he still has a level of trust for her because she was on the ground level building with something. And I think that's a true testament to any man who's building something. We don't just want a woman to show up like a birthday cake. We need you in that kitchen cooking with us as we build something in life. And I think that's how we establish relationships. The last thing that I'll say is stop saying, I hope women stop assuming that a black man is what he does at the moment. Because that's what happens with so many women. You get stuck at where he is. The classic example, a man is in college, he's the nerd kind of guy. He don't have it all together. And then her vision of him gets locked into that moment of life. 10 years down the line, that nerd who studied his butt off, who learned, who invested and educated himself is that dude now. Now, she didn't want him when he was working on it. She didn't want him when he was in progress, but now he's a finished product, and now she's at the finish line and wanting that kind of man. No, ma'am, you're going to sit your behind at the finish line and stay there, and you're going to watch another woman who built with him complete that finish line with him because you don't deserve a man that you didn't help him accomplish something in his life. I think men have to establish that hard boundary, and I think women will follow up. I don't think it's going to happen in 5 or 10 years. But I do think that over time, we have to reset how women perceive us by what we're willing to accept and then what we won't tolerate.
That's well put. Well, Louise, you want to say something real quick?
Yeah, no, I know where Humble Dad is coming from, and he does have a valid point, and Sir Hill really brought it home. But I also think that a lot of men are trying to just navigate through this whole swamp, right? I think the perspective that Humble Dad is coming from is someone who is already intentional and has sort of this, religious faith base in their upbringing. They understand their role as a man and they understand their role in society as well. And sort of they already have that ingrained in them to find a partner. Doesn't matter race, color, background, etc., but someone who aligns with them. And unfortunately, that is not something that is really talked about enough to men, right? They're trying to find, at times some men are trying to find a good time. You know what I'm saying? And some are just not keeping it real and saying that. But for the ones who are, they also have to navigate the swamp with the other men who are in there muddying it up at the moment as well.
All right. We'll go ahead and transition. If you guys just tuning in, welcome to King Talks. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now it's time to get to the meat of the conversation. We know the ladies like the meat. So here we go. Single women make more money. Single women make more money. Go ahead and play this clip.
I think being a single woman is more lucrative than being a woman in a relationship.
I don't
be
think
single.
so. You don't think it's more lucrative for a woman to be single?
No. I think a woman will make more money by herself, but I think a man makes more money with a woman. A woman will help open more doors for a man. A man will not help open more doors for a woman.
Man won't help open more doors for women.
No.
You don't feel like why though?
No.
Because women are what?
Assets.
I do agree in a sense, but I also disagree because I think women are perceived more valuable that are in relationships, right? Because I think ultimately most women actually want to be in relationships. So most women actually look up and revere the women that are in happy relationships the most.
We're not talking about being happy. We're talking about making money. Here's the reason why. When you're single, you can sell sex. When you're in a relationship, you don't.
You guys think the value is the selling of the sex part. A woman's value is selling sex.
Society believes that.
Yeah, I disagree with you guys completely. I feel like at any point in time, relationship is always going to be more powerful than being single.
We're not talking, we're talking about being lucrative.
Right. I believe that it's always going to be easier for two people building something than one. You could look at people who are in powerful relationship. All of them got better from their relationship. Whether you want to talk about Michelle Obama, about Beyonce, Aisha Curry, whoever you want to talk about. They got more powerful, more lucrative, more money, more notoriety, more fame by having these strong relationships.
All right, I said a handful. I see Humble Dad giving us some stuff. Shan, I'm going to go ahead. I'm coming to you second, Shan. Let me go ahead and start with B-Man. What are your thoughts about that? Start single women make more money. Yeah, I Sweeney over there. You holding your head?
Man,
Sweeney's gonna need an aspirin before the show's over tonight.
I don't get it, man. Dude just talking just for the sake of talking?
They just let anybody start a podcast these days.
Like,
Bruh, I'm saying the same thing, man.
Like, I swear, coming into this, I thought the main topic was gonna cover like single women having to be forced to work more, and so of course they make more money than the average woman, and something like that. I thought that's where it was gonna go. This fool brought up that women who are single can sell their ass. That's what you based that on? That's where you came in from?
It sounds like
he said those $20 up, man.
The crazy thing about him bringing up that argument of like women single selling ass, because anybody who has any understanding about how that industry works, the women who make the most money have pimps. So I don't know what he's talking about. Like whether you're talking about the sex industry, whether you're talking about the adult entertainment industry, the women who make the most dollars, there's a dude at the top of the food chain who's running that whole situation. So to say that women are making more money without single doesn't make sense. Then on top of that, if we're even going to just talk about outside of the sex industry, let's look at the top billionaires in the world. The top female billionaires all got their money from divorce. So what are we even talking about?
Then I don't get why they don't think about this in large. When you think about the numbers in large averages, majority of women who sell sex don't make a lot of money. Like they not all out here making $10,000-$15,000 a month on OnlyFans. What I'm sure one of y'all know. What was the average income for an OnlyFans model?
I'm married. I don't know.
I think it was like roughly around like maybe.
Sure, hell, I second that. Whatever he said.
Like this man really said that the women are free. They can sell sex. That unfucking believable.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of see where he was trying to go with that, but I think he kind of failed on that one, just simply because, like you said, even with the OnlyFans chicks, they're really pulling in like serious, $50,000 a month, $100,000 a month, and that type of stuff. They've got a man managing their account for them. They've got their dude managing it, running it for them. Typing things in the chat, all that type of stuff. And then gives out the money that way and distributes the money. And usually they're managing multiple women as well too. So there's usually a man behind a lot of that stuff because they're showing them how to scale it, they're running it, and making it into a very lucrative operation. Women that typically do that on their own, they don't typically have that same kind of success, the same level of success. Because at the end of the day, a lot of women need a man there to help them through some of the business stuff, to navigate through the planning of the business, the structure, executing, leveraging some of their resources, all that type of stuff. So and in general, I don't think single women make more money by themselves. I really think that they make their money, make more money with a man, make more money when it comes to building with somebody. Kind of like someone mentioned earlier about, Aisha. I think they mentioned on the clip, you're talking about Aisha Curry, a few other people. They made their money because of their man status. If your husband didn't win world championships and wasn't the 3-point champion of the world, you wouldn't have the restaurants that you have. You wouldn't have the reality show of cooking shows and having your cooking utensils sold in JCPenney and all that type of stuff. It's because your husband is who he is, which in turn, gave you the opportunity and the platform to shine yourself.
Now let's keep it on average. The average single woman does make more than the average woman who is married or in a relationship, but that's only out of necessity. It ain't because she's doing something so much better or that she's better off than. It's because she's by herself and she's forced to compensate for something that's not there. So like they do make more money, but it's not in a sense where this guy's trying to position it like they're better off or they're in a better position.
Excellent point, Sweeney. So here's the thing. Bloomberg published an article sometime last year where it did talk about how a lot of women who are opting to have children later in life, get married later in life, they do make more money. So there was no debate there. Here's the issue, though. Particularly in Black communities and minority communities, we stop at talking about making money. We don't talk about building wealth. There's a big fundamental difference. So you compile that with the stats that a lot of these women also own most of the consumer debt as well. When you combine that, it doesn't matter how much you make. I know people who got master's degrees making $75,000 a year, and they are living that life. She that chick. But at 75K, she's living at 74K, and she's stressed the heck out all through the year because she has to maintain a lifestyle because she's been told to chase a bag. She has no idea what it means to build wealth, and she's not planning for the future. She's living for the next couple of weeks to post a new Instagram picture to let people know she done bought herself an Audi. She got a new Benz, now she got a new purse.
Won't forget the trip to Bali.
Yeah, so she's making more money, but she's not making money for a future. She's making more money to show that she that girl. So I think that it's true that more women who are single do make more money, but I think we also have to account for how do they spend as well, and are they building wealth with their income?
So it's a weird. I've seen all of the stats on this because there are some that say single women make more money, married women make more money, and what it really is, and I want to put it in a perspective so we can kind of tackle it this way. It's a competition between women with no kids making more money. Those are the only women that are out here doing it. Single women with kids make 29% less than single men, or something like that. But it's really a battle between married women, single women with no kids, and single women with kids. The single woman with no kids is the one that has the ability to generate a lot of revenue. But what we don't really talk about on this topic, let me get my notes here. What did I put there? Married women will always essentially have more wealth in the end. So when we say make more money in totality, there is no possible way a single woman could ever make more than a married woman. Everything gets left to married women. If you just break it down logically, men die before women do. So married women even get inheritance from people when they die. So they get left everything and eventually will have more net worth. If you go get a house right now as a woman, you can use your husband's income or a loan for a business or anything, your husband's income as collateral for a loan. Okay, so, when we talk about it in real detail on how a woman can maneuver around this world, the married woman always wins. And to that point where they say single women can sell their ass, that was just take the mic away from that dude. That was the stupidest shit I've ever heard.
Because every woman can't sell their ass, you know?
Yeah. Single women can't sell their ass forever. There is an expiration date to the amount of ass you can sell. And the one thing we can say in modern time that we have many examples for, women that sell sex in any way, whether actually doing it on OnlyFans, doing anything in that industry, stripping, they always come back to reclaim their virtue so they can get married. So some fool will pick them up. Black China is doing it right now. You are watching it. Once they realize they have exhausted their capability and time is working against them, they try to come back and reclaim their virtue to be the woman they should have been all along. So that is
It never fails.
terrible. Somebody just give me his email so I can just heckle him and troll him whenever he's on any panel, because that dude was just take the mic away from that.
You know what else is crazy is that what did they say? Women gonna roughly about 50 to 60% of women gonna be single within the next 15 years.
By 2030.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine how oversaturated the market would be if all of them were selling ass? Like
that's the next 7 years. That's the next 7 years.
The price of the
They'll be down.
It would be in the toilet.
Free belly dance.
They'll be down there by the bodega, man.
Not by the bodega.
You're gonna have to start selling experiences. You can play PS5 for 1 hour.
OnlyFans gonna be $1 a month for subscriptions, 75 cents, 25. Like it will be in the toilet if that many women started just giving. You practically giving it away. You know how many dudes out there probably like, man, I'd rather give her the $50 than to sit here and deal with her for real.
That's crazy.
And the good brother Hinkin there. What's your thoughts about it, sir?
And man, it's crazy, but like Michael said, there's an expiration date on her. So you can't, like you said, you can't do it for a lifetime. So I agree with what Mike was saying. But as far as making more money, yeah, you got to worry about the future. You're just looking at the present. Imagine a single woman with one child have to maintain and do everything herself, and how much money she's spending. So I couldn't imagine the real nice lifestyle that she's trying to live. You know, like Sir Hale said, she's just living for the moment. You know what I'm saying? But that married woman who's with her husband, who's building generational wealth, like Mike was saying, she's doing inheritance. Not only that, whatever that money bring together, it's going to make more money than that single woman's making, more than likely. And so if he's a six-figure dude, and she's bringing in what little income she's bringing, maybe she's a stay-at-home mom where she, maybe she does a little tutoring on the side or whatever the case may be, but she's bringing her little money in. How is this single woman making more money than a married woman? I don't see it. I don't understand it. But I mean, this is just a selfish woman's concept. The boss chicks who wants to do it all themselves, who feel like they can. But in reality, like you said, it's going to hit them. Further down the road, it's going to hit them, and they're going to do like Black China did. Going to have that come Jesus moment. Want to get baptized and sanctified and filled with the Holy Ghost and try to change. I don't know.
But let's add this though. So we ask celebrities, but the truth is that the hard truth is that we got Black Chinas in our own families. A lot of us do. Like a lot of us have, some godmothers, first ladies of churches, right? So we don't even have to point to that. We can look at it in our own context. A lot of the women that we love the most, and it's hard for us to see this, right? Because we never want to see and admit that it's some of the women that are close to us. But the truth is, we see this in our everyday life. We see women who go through them. I mean, waste her beauty, waste her time, waste her life, forever chasing a caliber of man that she didn't have the character to handle. And so I think it's good for us to learn from the mistakes in our own families, because it's so easy to just project this on celebrities. And when we do that, we miss the real close life lessons that we can learn, that we can observe from those that are close to us. So ladies, if you're listening to this, like, please listen to men. Like, so many women get their information about what men want from other women who can't keep a man. and you go through life all jacked up. Listen to King Talk tonight. We're telling you that we don't want women who have been used up, women who are unwilling to work, and women who want a caliber of man when you don't have the character to handle them. So listen to successfully married, successful men who want women, and women who want that as well. Because a lot of y'all out here, I feel sorry for you because you're beautiful now, and in the next 15 years, life is going to look a lot different. So listen to King Talk. Listen to what we're saying. It's deeper than looks. It's deeper than money. We got to learn how to value each other. And then all that extra stuff comes as well. I say this because I've been married going on 16 years. And when I met my wife, my dates were under $11. That's all I could afford. CC's Pizza, it was about $4.99. And if I was balling that day, you know what I'm saying? If I was balling, I could pay the extra $2 to get a drink. Now I would get a cup of water. So it cost about $11 because I had to keep the other $9 for bus fare and for the train. And with my wife now, we've grown together, and she is one of my most trusted advisors. Shout out to Professor Shan. She's one of my most trusted advisors because we developed over that time. She saw me when I had nothing, believed in me. And in the time where she made more money than me, she never lost respect. This is what wives do. And you can't get to this level if you don't learn the lessons it takes from women who want to be wives, like not women who want to get the world, but women who can see a man's value. And then if you never hear the context from a man. So young ladies, specifically if you are attractive and you get a lot of attention, do not listen to your mama tell you, what she would have done if she was your age and she would have done something differently and she wouldn't have got married and she would have went and traveled the world. Your mama ain't getting no man because she couldn't keep one. Don't let the closeness of your relationship make you feel beholden to take that advice and ruin your life as well. You got to stop that bad cycle. You got an opportunity to do so. So listen to King Talk.
CC's is still
I think the mama's looking for a future roommate, so she's trying to set her up for that. That's what it is. Sorry.
That's a fact.
Single women keep women single. That's it.
Hey, go ahead, Shan.
Hey, that's real talk, Hank. Mama is looking for a roommate. A lot of women look for. I mean, the part of their retirement plan is their kids and their grandchildren. They want them They want them kids to be able to be there in their later years, and they set them up to make sure that they are. Hank is 100% right about that. But I mean, single women make more money. Come on, man. I don't know if he even paid attention to the stat that the black women in the U.S. are more likely to get evicted than any other group. Right now, black women is getting kicked the fuck out. They can't even pay their rent. Number one, getting kicked. Some of you brothers is married on the panel, but for you single brothers, I know that you've experienced women that get money and they're and you had to go in. And this is to all the kings in the chat and watching the show. You've had to go in and clean up some woman's chaotic financial situation. She got a job, she got a car, she got a place, but she's broke all the time. And you was like, God damn. And you came in maybe because you dating her, and you just looked and you just had to just almost take over her checkbook and be like, give her her own goddamn. I've had to do that multiple times, to go in and give a chick her own goddamn allowance from her own money to save herself. Less than 50% of women in America even contribute meaningfully to the economy. I was blown away when I saw that stat. I was like, wow,
they take more and don't pay no taxes. They're tax burden.
Yep.
That speaks to Sir Hale's point. 2/3 of women own the national credit. National credit debt is owned by women. Credit cards, school loans, card notes,
marketing,
credit,
consumer
all
debt.
of that.
Marketing.
Well, Shan, black women spend the most money. Black women spend the most money out of any demographic in the United States. Period.
But
they have surpassed black women. They have surpassed white women in how much money they spend.
But think about this:
retail and all that type of stuff, Amazon, all of that, and they don't have nowhere near the amount of wealth. Nowhere near.
But think about this, B. Madden, and that's a fact. The heart of this, though, women are chasing value that they have not been taught. So you go buy a purse, and that purse is going to make you feel some way. Or you buy this Lexus, now you feel a certain kind of way. until Black women are taught that your mirror, the Black man, is where you are going to build value, and that relationship is the root from which everything else grows, they're going to keep on buying stuff, trying to fulfill a void that was meant for men and women to come together and to fill. So that's why they're buying those purses and those clothes. They're trying to purchase value that can only be developed in the context of relationships.
I said this on
I like that, Sir Hell.
a solution. So what we really see, and now y'all are bringing it home. Y'all are like, we're teaching a class tonight. So what you can see with this, I need a man that makes a certain amount of money. To Shan's point, what a woman really wants is a man that can supplement her bad decision making. I need him to pick up the pieces where I messed up. I need him to be able to pay for the maintenance on this AMG Mercedes I could not afford.
That's heavy.
Every mistake she made, she wants a man to come clean it up. That is the basis for their expectations, for their unrealistic expectations and standards. They want to continue their toxic and irresponsible cycle of behavior, and they believe, and they're gaslighting the situation to say a man must be able to do this for me before he can get with me.
Trigger Mike, I want to challenge that. I don't think women just want a man to supplement. I think a lot of women want to be rescued. I think that a lot of women live in a level of chaos, and they are hoping that a man comes in and rescue them for their bad decisions. And this is why you get a woman who a man comes in and does that, a good woman, she will be that man's greatest asset because he rescued her from a level of chaos that otherwise she didn't know she can come out of. So I think there are some women who just want the supplement, but I think at the core of most women, they want a man to come and bring order to their chaos.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Are they recognizing that man though? See, that's one of the issues, and this is what I want the young princes and the young kings to understand, that you have to demand or walk away. Your power is to walk away, because you can come in and clean her up, but is she recognizing the greatness in you and everything that you've done, or is she just taking it for granted? You know, it's just like businesses. You know, we are on my show, I talk about the two ships: entrepreneurship and relationships. And I explain to people, I say, you know, ladies, you guys are rapidly becoming business owners, but you're not company owners. It's a difference between a business owner and running a company. It's a difference between being self-employed and being an entrepreneur. If you are self-employed and you just started a business, that's fine. Chill. For all I care, you ran out to Vistaprint and got some business cards printed up for $19.95, and suddenly you were CEO. But that don't make you a company owner. Doesn't mean that you ran a company and has a system in place as an entrepreneur. And that speaks to the pay gap, you guys. Nobody's touched on that. You know, I say the pay gap is not real. As Jordan Peterson explained, there's a personality trait called agreeableness. And women, by and large, follow into that agreeableness personality trait where they do not negotiate their salaries. So if you got a woman who's all by herself, left out to her own devices, and she wants a job and she is happy that she's being offered something, she's taking the deal. They'll offer her, hey, listen, we're going to give you this tech job for $55,000. They slide it across the table. She says, I'll take it. There's no argument, no pushback, no nothing. She gives it to the next guy. He said, yeah, 55 is cool, but I'll take 75 if you want me. Call me if you want me. Manager says, fuck, we really need him. Give him 75. So he gets 75,000. She gets 55,000 for the same job. It's because she's agreeable. He's not. So this whole notion that women single make more money. No, but a married woman, a woman with a man, when she says, well, they offered me 55, her man says, well, no, we're not doing that, are we, baby?
That's a fact.
I know you're not. You're not doing that. Not here. You let them know. Do you know what certification that you just graduated with? Shit. You go back and you hit them with 80,000 and we can land at 70. And she goes back and she says, well, you know, I like to have 80. She's nervous because she wouldn't have done that on her own, but her husband said so.
Yep.
And then he says, well, you know what? We can offer you 72. And then she's fucking damn near about to have an orgasm in her chair. She goes back and she calls her husband. But if she was by herself, she would have took the 55.
Yep.
She would have complained. She would have complained, but she would have took it. That's a fact, Shane.
He would have took it. And you know the funniest thing, for some reason, women believe that the job offer goes away if you ask for more money. That I've literally given out offers, and they have tried to preface by saying, "Well, if you're going to rescind the offer, then excuse me, ma'am. Never in life has someone told you they want you for a job. You make an offer of any kind, and they say, "No, we can't do that. I'm taking the job offer away." No, we will just respectfully decline and see if we can land on a number that's within the pay range. So, ladies, that is an excellent piece of advice. Absolutely negotiate salary. In fact, you never accept your first offer. That's just basic. Never accept your first offer. If they are giving you, look at the salary guidance, and in some states, it is even law now that they tell you the salary range. In some states, look it up.
Yeah,
so just say,
right.
okay, well, they don't ever want to do max unless they can't get you without it. They want to land in the middle because once you're maxed out, that puts a ticking time bomb on when you're going to get done with the job. So try to land a little bit above the middle if you feel like that's where you want to be. That's it.
And ladies, I want to point this out. This is why you need a man. Look at the game you just got on King Talk. This is what men do. There's a lot of different women who, if she comes from a job where she's making 42,000 and somebody offers her 55, to her that's awesome. And she's not looking at what the actual position is worth. This is what men do. And I think this is why women should look for men. We see things at a different range than you can see, regardless of how smart you are. I love what you said, Shane. I love what you said, Trigger Mike.
It's not all. Hey, listen, man. I know I got to be the bearer of bad news. Like, every man is not that caliber dude that's able to understand financial literacy, right? They need to be, but oftentimes they not. I mean, because if they were, more men would be actually doing better as it relates to finances in general, right? So I agree that the woman may need help, right? Got that. But most men, in my estimation, don't have financial literacy because most people are in debt in general. But to answer the question, I would say that a married woman definitely makes more, regardless of what profession she goes into. A married woman you're combining incomes, and your incomes hold a different weight as opposed to a single person. And two minds are better than one. But and as far as the dude saying, well, a single woman can go sell her ass. I mean, every single woman is not equipped to get money like that, to sell their ass. Because every woman is not a dope chick where dudes would want to go pay to see. You feel me? And so, with that being said, that particular analogy.
So you mean to say they're not all 10s, humble? You mean to say all women aren't 10s? Is that what you're trying to say?
Oh, no, they all 10s to themselves. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah, I was gonna say you can't tell them that.
So
I'm a 10. I'm a 10. We're all 10s, all of us.
Exactly. So I believe, I know how it is with us, with my fiance. Like she has allowed me to understand, not allowed, I said help me see some other ways that I could actually make more money. And so the type of woman that you want to look for is someone that can actually help you be what he said. Somebody said it, to be one of your assets, right? Like, one of the things that I didn't even think about was to start a moving company. Like, that's not what my thought process was, but my degree is in management, and that's pretty much what a moving company is. It's really just about managing people and managing the customers and things of that nature. And so because of that, I transitioned to being a business owner in that regard, as opposed to someone that is not equipped enough. I think y'all talk about the person that asks you everything. Is it paper or plastic? Like, a woman like that, she's not gonna be able to help you with much of anything, right? So I think because you're combining incomes, you're going to, Shannon, don't be doing that while I'm talking, bro. At least cover your mouth. At least, like, go off camera or something, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? Straight disrespect.
Come on.
So all I'm saying is,
Humble Dad had it right the first time when he said his wife allowed him. His fiance allowed him.
I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna
Shannon said wrap it up. Shannon like wrap it up, humble.
That's a bet. I listen. First of all, Shannon.
Land that plane.
First of all, Shannon is not the one. Maybe somebody else, But Shannon and his soliloquies that he be having all the time.
Hey, so I'm gonna have to push back a little bit. I think there's a large, I would say, majority of men have the financial literacy capacity, depending on the woman that they have. Let me explain. Most men aren't business owners, so they may not need the
nope.
They may not need the capacity to run a company, right? But they know how to save money. You know what I mean? For most Americans, most of them just need to know how to save money and put it in the right spot and pay their bills on time.
How to budget.
You know how to budget.
Save money, invest money,
and
allocate money.
Majority of men can do
keeping
that.
it simple, Louise.
So bare minimum.
Financial literacy is not just saving money. It
I agree,
encompasses a lot more.
We know that.
We know that. What I'm saying is that I don't think everybody. I think every man has the capabilities depending on their level where they at. And
capability and doing it is two different things.
So to Swinny's point, I will say most men seem to be more responsible than women.
Responsible.
To
That's
that
what
point, I agree with that.
I was going to say it's not even about full literacy as if he's going to go out and start a portwomen on Ameritrade.
But you can come in and be like, hey, look, we need to stop putting our money here.
As you can see, women own 2/3 of consumer debt, which means men make most of the money and pay most of the taxes. So men are more responsible with money naturally. But it's also because if we don't make money and produce for ourselves, we will be on the street. So we just naturally have a different sense about money to either save some, compartmentalize. Hey, let me not do this. Let me not go too wild. Because I've heard women try to compare consumer debt. Well, men have all these cars. What I've basically broken it down to is that men could never possibly spend money on the amount of things that women do. We usually spend money in very specific areas. We could just give out a few now. Car, what else?
Food,
car,
very specific area, and that's it. That actually makes us happy. Big ass screen TVs, exactly. Speakers or whatever. We compartmentalize that in very small areas. We spend money. You can see that throughout the nation. Women have an unlimited amount of things that they can spend money on. That's why they go into consumer debt so bad. So
I'm like, I think that's why I said I think it just depends on I think most people need a basic knowledge of, you know what I mean, basic level of financial literacy just to be able to do right. Then you got your levels beyond that. And I don't think every man has to be at the levels beyond that. It'll be great to be that, but I think most men can come into a woman's life, most average men can come into the average woman's life and they do well together. I don't think women are worse off with men than they are without them. I think they're always going to be better off with men than they are without them.
That's a fact.
And let me respond to Money Muse saying that everybody pays taxes, Mike. What are you talking about? If you can listen, you have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Women take
to these
no, she be on my show doing the same thing. Women take more money out of the economy via entitlements. So no matter how much money you put in, you are taking money out via welfare, student loan debt that you won't pay back. You take more money out than you put in. Men actually pay, what is the number? It's astonishing. Men actually pay over 80% of the taxes paid to the U.S. government, but women work too? How the hell did that happen?
Not to mention, Trigger, if you I don't think she's considering the fact that a lot of these women will they may have their taxes being taken out their check, but at the end of the year, when that refund check come around, then they claimed all their dependents and all those exemptions, then they get all that money back. In fact, even more back.
Kids.
It's the head count of those kids for real.
For Trigger Mike.
I just want to bring something up, and I watched the video earlier today. I mean, since we're on the conversation, by Patrick Bet David, and we ranked 13, 14 in the medium U.S. household income by selected ethnic group. And it's at $42,297, right? Compared to the leading being 120,000. So, I mean, that alone should tell you that, being together, a lot of people have more to gain than being separated or apart. You know, like you paying rent over there for a 1-bedroom apartment and utilities and all that, and then this guy over here doing the same thing. You're both spending the same exact amount of money on just living, as opposed to coming together and really creating something. And sort of, I don't really buy into the whole notion that, women make more money single. I think they do, to all the brothers' points tonight, they do benefit a lot more in relationships and in marriages for that point. But I think that the overall value system compared to how well other ethnic groups are doing is because they instill that sort of group economics, and they also instill that community-based thinking in living together, right? Especially, not kicking your kids out at 18. I know we talked about that a few podcasts back, how to kind of benefit. And here's one thing, Trigger Mike, I know you'll probably appreciate. So if we're talking about women who are actually, here's one example. I know the women who are actually who graduated high school and still live at home, who went off to college and did room and board, still living at home with their parents and under their father. Those women are actually doing better, because you think about the amount of money that they probably had, summer jobs and odd jobs, the country club and stuff like that while throughout high school and summers, and then they go off to community college and college, right? And then they living at home, so they're saving on money on room and board and all that other stuff, right? And they still have that family unit. They still have that family structure and their fathers in their life, right? And probably navigating and walking them what they should do with their finances and stuff like that, compared to the woman that's trying to get it out the mud, who has an apartment who she cannot afford. She is borrowing money to keep up with a lifestyle that she cannot afford. So if we're going to split hairs and talk about specific women, I think that the I want to go get it out the mud boss chick is far more struggling compared to the woman who still lives under her parents' roof until has found a mate before she has off and started a family of her own. So I'll yield on that.
Indeed.
Great point.
I just want to say this to my black women who are out there who are listening to this. I need ladies to get back in touch with your men. And this might mean you're going back to talk with your dad, with you talking with men that you respect. Go back and figure out what men are beyond what they can give you. Like, don't ask for nothing. Don't go see what men are worth, because a lot of you ladies aren't going to get this until your father passes away, you divorce your husband, until your sons don't want to be around you, to realize that men want something too. And if we spend all of our time acquiescing to your demands without you ever investing back into us, it's a very miserable life. And this is no longer a black issue. This is an American issue. And so women of all cultures are going to experience this very same thing. Go back and see what men are, the benefit of having a man in your life. Respect that. And understand that any money you make, any value you bring should be something to be a benefit to his life and to your family. And I think when you get back to there, you're going to experience what we call joy and happiness, because you're not living and trying to be satisfied from the acquisition of materials. You're doing it based off of relationships and your investment to people. Black women, please hear me. We love you and we need y'all, but we need y'all to stop being crazy and stop driving us in debt.
All right, there you go. Sorry how it took us home. Let's go get to these super chats real quick before we get up out of here. David says the Lapeef Network lives on. Respect to the panel. Salute to you, sir. Will G. $5 also member says, when asked what type of man they want, women sound like little children picking out what to wear for the day. Fantasy Island Girl 499 says most women will never sell it, so that's a moot point. Caesar's Palace $2 says it was around $100 to $300 average on OnlyFans a month. Fantasy Island Girl 199 says exactly, Trigger Mike. Fantasy again, 499 says, Sir Hill, you're absolutely right. Fire emoji. Unsolicited security boss. $5 says, single women, it's time to get real with your life. Fantasy Girl 189 says, Ed Shannon Rawls is so right. Fire emoji with the wink.
Shout out to Fantasy.
Fantasy Girl 189 says, great show, gentlemen. Fire emoji.
Fantasy, you can call my name.
Fantasy showed up and
You
showed
are a
out.
white man.
We see
Are
you.
you
show
jonesing
yeah.
for a black man? Is that what this is, Fantasy?
You can call my name anytime.
You better stay over there with your milk of magnesia.
Hey, Trigger Mike, that's Mr. Charlie. That's Mr. Charlie.
You swirling over there? Okay, never mind.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you gotta have Mr. Charlie.
Got the swirl going on.
Before we get out of here, I just want to make sure you guys give everybody a follow on the individual platforms. Trigger Mike, Humble Dad, Shannon Rawls, Sir Hill, Big Clout Jones, B. Madden, Sweeney, Nick in the Basement, and Luis. If they don't have a YouTube, they got some great things going that you can find out on their Instagram. So make sure let's support each other. I want to thank you, gentlemen, on the panel tonight for your perspectives. Another great show. If you just tuning in, you just missed it. Catch it on a replay. Maybe if you're on third shift or something like that, you can listen to it on the low. Fantasy Girl 199 says, my man is giving me the joy y'all speak of.
Hey, right on.
I know it, bro. I know it, bro.
Okay.
Right on. And a shout out to Juvie.
Disappointing faces right
there. Like Juvie. No, okay. All right, on that note, we're gonna go ahead and go. I guess that joke didn't hit. No? Okay. My bad. Cloud? Oh. Well,
it's been great, fellas.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. It's always been a privilege. JR, thanks for having us.
All right.
Appreciate you as always, bro.
Yeah, really good questions, JR, man. Salute to you, bro.
Yeah, like that joke was funny, y'all. Like that joke wasn't funny.
I don't know if they got it, JR.
I didn't catch it. I didn't catch it.
Okay. All right, yeah.
All right.
Try it on the next live.
All right.
Yeah, I'm trying to next one, man. That was yeah. All right, y'all. Catch y'all next one. Appreciate y'all.
All right, fellas.